Welcome back to the Football Casual, and today we're doing another debate reaction over on Zach Jalab's channel. Go subscribe to him. Today, it's one controversial opinion versus 20 Premier League fans. I'm a Premier League fan, so let me see what these takes are, and I'm going to let you know if I agree or disagree, but I'm also going to judge the debate based on the arguments. So let's get straight to it. Like, subscribe, all the good algorithm stuff. Comment down below your opinions as well. Let's get to the video.
I think being a fan of a big six club in the Premier League is harder than being a fan of the rest of the clubs.
Hold up. Off the bat. This might be one of the spookiest takes I've heard on one of these videos. I'm curious to hear what his argument is going to be, see how he kind of spins this one. But you can already see people are quick to get up out of their chairs. I'm going to be surprised if he does not get cooked. But maybe he'll have an argument.
Is it going? Is the clock going?
Cool. Obviously, this might look a bit weird as I am a fan of a Premier League Big Six club.
Yes,
But I want
interesting.
to talk about it from maybe an international perspective. So looking at multi-club ownership, for example. So obviously, as a Chelsea fan, our owners also own Strasbourg, who aren't one of the biggest clubs in their country, and they're nowhere near the stature of the Big Six clubs in the Premier League. As a fan, I can't imagine how difficult it must be to know that your club is basically just part of a food chain, like an organized food chain. Another club can come over to your club, pick your best players if they want, how they want, for minimal fees, just because of financial reasons.
Okay, I hear that. I'm not really sure if that's really a counter to what he said. It is in general, but I think he's making the argument it's Big Six club in the Premier League versus non-Big Six clubs in the Premier League. You can't really compare a Big Six club in the Premier League to a mid-table club in Ligue 1. I understand the argument he's trying to make, but I'm not sure that's the argument for this specific debate. But maybe I'm confused, but it seems like maybe he's confused.
I don't think us fans of Big Six clubs know what that pain feels like.
I do understand that. I don't know if there's an example of that in the Premier League, which is why I said Premier League specifically.
Yeah,
However,
yeah.
Well, these Premier clubs are normally the big boy in that kind of scale, aren't they?
as in terms of how you pick players out.
Well, he's saying there about multi-club ownerships. Normally,
Yeah.
Premier League clubs are the top.
So like Man City,
dog, aren't
Man
they?
City are part of
Even
it.
like Bournemouth,
Yeah.
are that as well.
Okay, so my argument to that would be maybe at the beginning, cool, it would hurt a bit, but when you become used to something, it becomes cope. So I'm a big believer in it's the hope that kills. When you support a lower team, eventually you don't. There's certain games you go into and you don't even expect to win. There's certain games, certain seasons where you know I'm not winning this, I'm not winning that. If you lose away, it's like, oh, I just support Palace, for example. We were never winning that game. Obviously, no offense, but for example, with like
I don't know. Powell's just catching strays for no reason. Tough. Interesting argument. I see what he's trying to say. I mean, I'm not even sure what he's saying even relates to this whole multi-club ownership thing. I don't know. I feel like these two aren't really debating each other, but he's making an interesting argument that Big Six clubs have more hope going into a season because you expect to win things versus a smaller club. You just go in, maybe you're just taking what you can get. He's trying something.
Arsenal with a Man United. Look at Arsenal this season. They've been top of the league the whole season, and they get the most stick in the league. Really and truly, they should get the least because they're at top of the league. Technically, they're the best team. Therefore, they should get the least stick. So for me, because of the fact that there's more expectations, there's more scrutiny in the media, even, for example, the players that play for those clubs, they have the most limelight on them. They can do less things. Some of the professionals in the Premier League, some of them probably go out to like a boxing event. No one will say anything.
But that scrutiny that you're talking about, isn't that more towards the managers and the players, the people actually in the clubs, rather than the fans?
I think fans feel that as well. So when your players get scrutinized, we're content creators. If you're the type of fan that's like a tribal fan, you come on social media and then you have to back your players, and then people give you stick for backing that player. I think it all comes in hand. I've never had to see a fan of like Fulham go on social media and really have to back the performances of a Wilson or a Smith.
Fulham catching strays too. I'm not sure about this argument. I mean, on the one hand, I see what he's saying. Like, the Arsenal example he's giving, Arsenal was top of the league for a long time, and they still get hammered for their performances and not running away with the league and looking super dominant. Okay, sure, I can hear that. Maybe that's true of the players and the manager, and you do see, at least especially last season, you did see a lot of Arsenal fans getting a little, I don't know, a little rattled because there were points where they felt like, oh, it's hard to defend some of the performances we're having. But at the end of the day, they're still top of the league. If they believe, they believe. Even if they did bottle at the end of the season, they're spending more of the season being happy than the average fan because they're top of the league. If they bottled it at the end, okay, they have maybe a lower low. Maybe you could make the argument, okay, Big Six fans have a lower low, but the highs are just way more frequent and potentially higher unless someone like a Palace, like you mentioned earlier, when they went and won the FA Cup. Okay, then maybe that high is even higher because that's less expected. But I don't know about it being harder as a fan just because you can't take some banter on social media. I don't really, I can't really back that one. And this is coming from a Chelsea fan, a Big Six fan who has been going through the trenches in the last however many years, and we finished 10th last year. Hey, that has sucked. But also, there are teams who every year their goal is to finish 10th. So maybe, okay, that's a little bit of a high for them, but deep down, everyone wishes to go higher. So I can't really complain. Like, obviously, I'm going to make videos complaining because I have expectations, but I can't complain in the grand scheme. Oh, this is so much harder as a Chelsea fan than being a fan of Wolves, who just had a diabolical season last year and now not even a Premier League team. So I don't know about that one.
I would disagree though, because I feel like with these mid-table clubs, a lot of other football fans or content creators probably form opinions of their players without actually watching them, leading them to maybe make incorrect statements or just false statements. And in a situation like that, those football fans will feel obligated to have to speak up and defend their players. I think it's very easy to like say that, oh, this player is overrated, XYZ, whatever. You don't watch them during 3 p.m. kickoffs. They're not really televised on 5:30 or 4:30 unless they're
Early. I just want to say, Blood right here, fellow Chelsea fan. I've seen him make on plenty of these videos before. He is zoned the hell out.
one of the big boys.
I mean, I could come out and say something like, Raul Jimenez is overrated.
Mm-hmm.
We might talk about it for like 5 minutes, but really and truly, none of us really care if he's overrated or not. But if I say someone like Rice is overrated, we'll be talking about it for weeks and months, maybe even up to a year, just based off the fact that he's at a Big Six club. And I'm basically using that to say the Big Six clubs have so much limelight and scrutiny on them that for a supporter, it's basically a job role.
Well debated. I want to get.
I don't know if you choose it to be, you could just watch your team week to week and keep it moving and just hope for the best. But I mean, they tried to put on a little debate there, but I don't know if that was the right path for this argument to go down. That was the interesting one.
Yeah, I want to get Jamie on because I know Jamie is very passionate about it. Right. Welcome, Jamie. Go on.
How old are you?
25.
25.
But actually, 19.
Look younger.
19.
You look younger.
So-
You look younger.
I need to know, what are the biggest stresses for you
Yeah.
that make you have this opinion as a Man United fan?
Because I'm so used to growing up winning.
Man United fan. Only victim complex, man. Yeah, we're top of the food chain for forever. A decade out of the food chain, and all of a sudden it's harder than being a lower club fan, man. Let's be real. That's crazy victim complex. Crazy.
In trophies, especially now. I think now that we're not as good.
I'm so sorry, mate. What?
But this is
Yeah, let me hear what
have
he
this
said.
opinion as a Man United fan.
because I'm so used to growing up winning trophies, especially now. I think now that we're not as good.
I'm so sorry, mate.
That's what I'm saying.
But this is what I'm saying. So
He's
it's like,
cooking.
to see it like this, a privileged kid, he grew up with money, wealth, whatever. And then all of a sudden one day, I don't know, money gets taken away from him and you have to live life as someone that doesn't have money anymore.
I'm sorry.
Wait.
This is an insane. This is an insane argument, bro. So basically, he's making an analogy for a Big Six fan, say like Man United, for example. Like he's saying, being analogous to someone who's grown up rich and then all of a sudden your family, like say your parents' company goes bankrupt, and all of a sudden you're poor and you got to get it out the mud as a poor person. Yeah, maybe, but I promise you, most people still would have rather have had that time when they were rich. Why not? Why not? And even it's just not even the you can't really compare that to someone who's poor the entire time to say, "Oh, I had a period of time where I was super rich. Now I'm just with like you guys." Because even that isn't the same. Because you're not going from rich to poor. You're going from rich to middle class, and everyone else is still poor. So this is an insane argument. Usually I come on here, I talk about the take and I talk about the arguments and I try to separate the two. But this being a rough take to start is proving to be something that's hard to be argued because the argument is not hitting. But I'm curious to see. You got 5 minutes left. Let's see how he cooks.
I think it's helping
I'm
your
going,
case,
don't
AJ.
worry. Wait. Anymore.
Mate, I'm sorry.
Wait.
I don't think it's helping your
I'm
case,
going,
AJ.
don't worry. Wait. Don't worry. I'm going to land.
Go on. Go on.
Let him land.
Let him get there.
The people that are accustomed to that lifestyle already are able to deal with it more because they were brought up that way. They lived that way. The person that isn't from that lifestyle, yes, they were privileged to be there, but once you get thrown into a lifestyle that you're not used to, the struggle might be a bit harder for you because you don't know how to cope with it.
But why is that worse for them? Like, ultimately, I guess that's what you're saying, is that it's worse for the top six fans.
Yeah, it's a bigger fall. If you grew up and you're used to something, by the time you get to adult age, you can cope with
But
it
it's
better.
not like United then aren't spending £100 million on a player. Or
Hey,
like,
Zach is cooking. And Zach is the judge. Zach is the referee, and Zach is cooking. This one. Oh hell no! This one ain't it. This one ain't it, Chief. Because even the argument he's making is a very particular scenario that's relevant to Man United over the last 10 years or longer now, or you want to say Chelsea over the last. Well, we're coming up 5. I don't even know how many years now, and clubs like that, Spurs, who were finished 17th the last 2 years, whatever. But Big Six clubs, there's still Big Six clubs that are competing. Arsenal just won the league. Liverpool won the league the year before that, and City won the year before that. And City's still competing. Arsenal's going to look to repeat. Liverpool is going to look to get back up there. They still have resources. They still have better players. They still are going to compete for the titles. They're still going to compete in the Champions League. It's still, I mean, if you want to make the case for Man United, okay, maybe, but I mean, still doesn't work. But you can't just say Big Six clubs in general, because if you want to say Arsenal went through that drought period before Arteta came in, sure, but they still had the resources to make it back to the top within the however many years Arteta's been in charge. Most clubs don't have those resources to go through a period for that long where you're poor and still make it back to the top. Usually, if you're poor and you're a club that's not on that kind of level, you're gonna feel the consequences and you're gonna be sliding down the league. You might end up facing relegation because you just don't have those resources. So this argument, it's rough. I can't lie, it's rough.
Adult age, you can cope with
but
it
it's
better.
not like United then aren't spending £100 million on a player, or like spending thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of pounds on lots of.
I do understand that.
Say West Ham do.
I do understand that, but the money has nothing to do with me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
What?
mate. Oh.
Wait, what?
So, where do we start? Honestly, I'm baffled. I can't understand.
Yeah, I'm stunned.
Inherently, football is about glory, right? You've said you've had your glory years. You've grew up in your spoiled period. Even in the last 10 years, you still won FA Cups. You've won Europa Leagues and things like that. You've had some
second
of the
in the Premier League.
Yeah, you spend huge money. Life as a mid-table football fan is about maybe getting a 1-0 win away at Old Trafford, or getting a good player before he goes to one of the big boys for a little while. Football inherently is about glory. I've experienced one night of glory in my life. You've experienced how many? And your life's harder because now you're third in the league. What are you talking about? You've got some of the best players in the world, like playing for your club on a regular basis. Your life ain't hard, and if you think it is, then.
I like this W cinematography cut to another Man United fan. Ain't nothing to say, bruh. Got nothing to say. This is an absolute demolition derby, bruh. This is rough.
We are never going to see eye to eye on football. That's the reality.
Okay, but can I ask you a quick question? Where did West Ham finish last season?
We were like, what, 16th?
Okay, so after that season, like, how bad did you feel as a club? Because you've been in the championship before. Like, did it affect your life, the fact that you finished?
Okay,
16th?
well, I'll ask you because we finished above you, right? You were 17th.
Yes.
Right. You were 7. It was you. No, we were 15th. You were 16th.
They were 16th.
Yeah.
Spurs were 17th.
So like that is.
I mean, none of this is aging well because they're talking about the season before last, based on when this was recorded. Actually, in reality, at the time I'm recording, Man United just finished third. West Ham just got relegated. So this isn't aging well at all because you really can't make this Big Six club being harder thing when this guy, I'm sure if you go watch him right now, he is in the dumps because his team's back in the championship. So it's not aging well.
Quite frankly, the worst season of your life.
Yes.
That's reality for 90% of the football fans around here that aren't a top 6 club, you know.
But this is what I'm saying. That's why I was asking you, how did it make you feel? Because if you just felt normal, as in like me finishing 16th, I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep.
Mate,
I felt
can't
sick.
eat, can't sleep.
I couldn't live life the way I want to. I couldn't talk about my team in public. If you finished where you finished and you're still comfortable sitting here talking about West Ham, I wouldn't feel comfortable. If United were in West Ham's position right now, I wouldn't even come to this shoot to talk about United because I wouldn't even feel comfortable. The fact that you're even able to feel comfortable, it just shows that you're used to this. I can't be used to it.
Oh, okay. Like, so we're going down a different avenue now, right? Typical London Red talking about his football club there, right? Okay, let's just talk, right?
Are you from East London?
I am from East London.
Fairs, respect, chill.
What's this guy? Honestly, right?
It's too performative. It's too performative for 1v20.
Let's get back to the topic.
Right, look, again, mate, like, at the end of the day, I've said it already, football's about glory. You've had more glorious nights than 90% of the people here. Your darkest days are still brighter than a lot of people around this shoot and whatnot. I come here because I love football, you know, but inherently my club will probably get relegated this year and that'll be darker than any day you've ever had. Do you know what I mean? You had a terrible 6 months under Amorim and it's the end of the world. We're still talking about Amorim 6 months later, but you're third in the league and you got, a player that's going to be player of the season. Your frame of reference is never going to identify with mine because it ain't relatable. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think even using Man United is probably a bad example compared to talking about a club like Arsenal, who have probably gone through a lot of years of pain based off the fact that they had an expectation.
Do they know pain? Do Arsenal fans know?
I'm about to say, Arsenal is a worse example based on the argument he's trying to make. United are probably, I shouldn't even say United, Spurs are probably the best example you could give because they got Big Six club name, but don't have the silverware recently to really back it up. So maybe Spurs are more of that example where they just get bantered constantly. But even that, you would still take life as a Spurs fan. I know they finished 17 back to back, which is crazy, but you still probably take life as a Spurs fan than life as a West Ham fan who just went down. So even then, Arsenal, I don't know how you can say Arsenal is the better example. I know they recorded this before Arsenal actually won the league. So maybe now he wouldn't say that, but even at the time of recording this, when Arsenal were top of the table, how could you possibly say Arsenal are a worse example? This is a crazy argument.
Of years of pain based off the fact that they had an expectation.
Do they know pain? Do Arsenal fans know pain?
Like
do you know
do.
pain?
I feel like maybe I don't, but Arsenal fans definitely
What's
do.
the saddest you've ever been as a West Ham fan?
Mate, the first time I ever cried over football was Steven Gerrard scoring a goal in the FA Cup final. That was, 21 years ago? Like, I don't really know what you want from me, mate. Like, that happened 21 years
We've
ago.
got a Leicester fan over here who's just
know
gone
what I
into
mean?
League One after having won the.
Do you know pain? Like, you've had one season finishing near the relegation zone. Outside of that, you've not experienced pain as a football fan. Neither of, like, Arsenal fans joke and laugh about finishing second in the league, and it's that, like, you know, we sit here and talk about it all day. Arsenal fans talk online about it. That's not pain. That's not pain. Like,
I think pain
he
is
won.
based
He won a Premier League 10 years ago. He's now in League One. That's pain.
Is there an argument to say it's relative?
Yeah.
Do you think it's relative in any way?
I think that's what he's trying to say. He's trying to say the relative pain is worse than the pain of the non-Big Six club fans, but still, okay, you want to say relative, maybe it hurts more, get more than what we usually expect, but I'd rather finish second than go to League One. I mean, just tough. That's tough.
I think pain is. I think pain is
Spoiled.
based off.
Spoiled.
Pain is
It's
based
rose
off.
tinted glasses.
I think pain is based off expectation, though. Like I said, the reason why I judge your pain differently is because you don't expect to win the Premier League. So if I don't win the Premier League, or if Arsenal don't win the Premier League, or if a team like City don't win the Premier League, their fans will be in pain because that's what they expect of their club.
My life is pain. That's what it is. All right.
Well done, Jamie.
I'll say one thing.
Go on, take one thing, then you jump in.
I'll say one thing.
You want to sub in and do it?
Oh, that's it.
There's no way.
That's
You
it.
did me like that.
I'm sorry. That's the time. That's
Really?
the time.
Absolutely cooked.
Full time. Okay. I can't. Oh,
Just one thing.
go on, one thing.
Okay. I think what you're saying is very dependent on how much of an actual emotional attachment you have with your club. This isn't me coming for you because you're not London or you're not from Manchester and you support Man United. But there are people here, for example, who live in East London that support West Ham, that live in North London that support Tottenham, that live in Leicester that support Leicester. They're having an emotional attachment to that football club because it's what they represent. It's what they're born with, it's what they're raised with. They go to games, they feel that. So when, for example, a team maybe goes down or whatever, they feel that more than, for example, a Chelsea fan that lives in Stevenage, just as an example. Because, I'm not even trying to do that because I'm not the craziest Arsenal fan that goes home and away, but I've been to enough games to realise that when you go, you feel attached to that football club because you're there and you see it. In regards to maybe somebody else who supports United or supports Chelsea or supports whoever that can't go to those games on a regular basis, you might not feel that same way if your team were to go down or to lose a game, which is maybe why you might have issues.
I definitely agree.
I mean, as an international Chelsea fan, I see the point he's trying to make because I don't have the ability to go to Chelsea games and whatever, but I don't really know if that's a counter to what he's saying about it hurting more as a Big Six fan. Because if anything, I just don't really see how that correlates. Because of course, this guy specifically is from London and he supports United. Okay, maybe there's a disconnect there, but still, the argument is not just for this guy specifically. It's for Big Six fans in general, and most of those Big Six fans, or I shouldn't say most, but actually most of these Big Six fans actually do have big international fan bases. But a lot of the Big Six fans are going to be from where they're supporting too. So it doesn't necessarily come as an exact counter to what he's saying. But it's an interesting argument. Also, this guy in the back here, back left in the Barca kit, looks like Baena. Just me, the guy kind of looks like Baena. It was kind of random, but
A team like West Ham because they are a staple in the Premier League. However, I feel like a team like Southampton and Burnley, that they basically know they're going down before the season even starts. I don't think they feel it as much as a team that.
Fair, isn't it?
I don't. Feel, I don't know. I don't.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that
Neither do
whatsoever.
I.
That's the end of the debate. That's the end of the debate. Just before we move on.
that was a rough one. I ain't gonna lie. That might be one of the most one-sided debates I've seen in all these debate reactions I've done. As a Chelsea fan, I just want to come out and say I do not agree with that take. If you cannot tell by my opinions throughout this video, horror take, terrible take. The arguments weren't even good. Shout out to him. I mean, I have nothing against the guy. Obviously, we're just talking about the take in the debate. He's probably a normal whatever dude, but just I don't see how that could possibly be the case based on everything said in this video and just in general. Just think about it logically. It just doesn't even add up. But it was a fun one anyway. I mean, I would like to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. I can probably guess what you're going to say about this take, but still, drop your comments. Big Six fans, non-Big Six fans. Maybe you agree. Maybe you agree with him. I'll be surprised, but I'll be curious to hear it because I think it's interesting to get different perspectives. But like, subscribe, all the good algorithm stuff, and I'll be back shortly with another one. Peace.